Hey guys, Gary J here again. And today we're looking at a very unique pistol here. This is another Dan Wesson pistol, and it looks a lot different than the last Dan Wesson pistol I showed you. One of my videos is on the Dan Wesson 357 Magnum with the 15-inch barrel and the A2 birdcage screwed on the end of that barrel, which is a very interesting pistol too, the 357. This one is a real beast of a pistol right here. And this pistol is the 445 Super Mag. 445 Super Mag Dan Wesson. Now, remember, Dan Wesson is not associated with Smith & Wesson. Daniel B. Wesson and Horace Smith got together and created the Smith & Wesson Company. Dan Wesson came about 100 years later as Daniel B. Wesson II, which was kin to Daniel Wesson of Smith & Wesson Company. He worked for Smith & Wesson for a while and then created his own company calling it the Dan Wesson Company. And his objective was to create the greatest pistols ever made. And a lot of people who collect or have Dan Wesson pistols believe probably that he did create one of the most unique, versatile, and solid pistols made. Even the frames on his pistols were generally stronger than a lot of the other pistols of that kind of design on the revolvers and so forth. And his pistols were often used in competition shooting from 50 to 200 yard silhouette shooting. So on this pistol right here, what makes it very unique is that it is a 445 Super Mag. Now, most people have no idea what a Super Mag would be in a 445 or what that means. So we're going to look at that and give you an idea of what the Super Mag is. Before I show you the big difference there, let me show you this beautiful pistol. And one of the things I have to mention again, this is like the Magnum series, and he had several different Magnums, the 445 Super Mag, the 375 Super Mag, the 357 Super Mag, the 41 caliber Super Mag, and they were just amazing pistols, and a lot of them were designed to shoot these steel silhouettes out to 200 yards and be able to knock them down. So he had to create a really strong frame. Now looking at this one here, this is a hoss right here, I'm going to tell you. One thing right here, you can probably notice the beautiful bluing. It's amazing with Dan Wesson, when he came out with these pistols, now these early generation pistols, the company started about 1970. But he tweaked them to come out with this kind of aesthetic beauty of this particular design. But his baseline pistols have this kind of beautiful bluing on them. And that's one of the incredible things about Dan Wesson. He always had beautiful bluing on his pistols. And it's like a presentational grade pistol. And also he always had beautiful handles on his pistols too. The handle grips here, and a lot of them came with like zebra grips. And this is a beautiful wood zebra grip. And it's got a hole at the bottom where you have a bolt that goes in there to screw it onto the frame, and I'll show you how that works. And real easy to change out with a multi-tool as we use on Dan Wesson pistols. But this is a very special one here, especially to me, and a great pistol for competition. Now, some competitions only allow you to have a certain weight of a pistol. This one may exceed that one. But we've got about an 8-inch barrel on this one. So this is basically an 8-inch barrel on this pistol right here. And I'll show you the uniqueness of this particular pistol. Now we can see it's got a ventilated rib up here. It's got a flat black grain here so you don't get reflection off the sun. And you have your front sight here. And then you have your muzzle brake here. You can see how it's cut out right here on the muzzle brake. And this thing is solid. And at the bottom of the pistol barrel, we call this the shroud, the outside part here. This is a heavy piece of steel that's put here to give it this extra weight because this is such a powerful pistol in the 45. And we have Dan Wesson's name right here. That comes from the factory like that. And then we have 445 right here. And then underneath that, we get the light right, it's Super Mag. And just a beautiful design. And the release latch here is in the front. Most pistols have them in the back. All different types of pistols have them in the back. But Dan Wesson is unique in having theirs in the front. You pull this down with your thumb and push out your cylinder. This is a huge pistol here. And you got a good hammer here. Catches your thumb real good for turning. Pulling back. And you can see the Wesson firearms here. Nice trigger. And one thing about this too is we look at the end of the barrel here. It's kind of unique looking here. And you see how heavy this or how thick this bottom piece is here. Some of the Dan Wesson pistols are just round. They don't have this, but this is the heavy pistol design right here, which makes it quite unique. And again, the 445 Super Mag. So you got adjustable rear sight, and you can change out the front sight right here. This place a little. You can put your tool in here to unscrew that, and we have different sights for these as well that we can use on these. Let's go with that in a little bit. So different colored sights depending on the time of day, and you got the steel sight right here too. And just take out that screw right here, and we have a multi-tool here, and this would be the end of it right here that we use to take out that screw. And just stick that in here and unscrew that, and this sight will pull right off. And the multi-tool will also adjust your rear sight right here as well. So it's a very versatile tool. Now this particular pistol here, unlike the other Dan Wesson pistols, this will not reach the locking lug inside this pistol. And I'll show you why. This is why we have this one. This is special made, custom made for this pistol. And with this piece right here on the end right here, we take this right here and we can turn this. see this right here just screws into this shroud right here. Kind of hard to see, you can't see in there really, but I put my finger in here. I can feel the lug that's in here that we would be going after. And speaking of lugs, this would be the lug that holds this shroud on right here. You can see the cutouts in it. And this goes down inside here and holds this shroud onto the frame. So we take this tool here on this particular pistol here and we slide it in here. You see how far it goes in? I felt it lock into the lug right here. Okay. You don't want this real tight, this kind of snug. You may have to tighten it up again after you shoot it a few times. That should be enough. Okay. Now, what you do now, I've loosened that lug right there. It's not falling out, but it's all the way done, unscrewed. I'll just pull the barrel right here. You see how it pulls loose right here. And now we have, this is the shroud. You can see through it. And you can see the holes at the very top right here, which come through these ports right here. Okay. And of course this is your barrel. So let's put this down. Okay, that lug fell out then. We got our barrel right here. And now we just unscrew our barrel. Got a lot of fine threads on that barrel, and it's real easy to unscrew. I mean, it's just like butter unscrewing that. Just got a lot of threads on it. You can see the rifling is really nice in there. And so this is what we have here. I think I tried to show you on the other one. You got a pin right. See if we can get that in. A pin right here, where my finger's at here. That pin right there goes inside this hole right here. Okay, that little hole right there. And that keeps your barrel from turning. Okay. Now that we've taken that apart, this is what it looks like. Could polish that out a little bit there probably. And we've got a grip on here. And one of the great things about the Dan Wesson I like is that instead of having a screw through here like the Rugers and the other pistols, that screw takes away from the beauty of the wood and stuff a lot of times. So the screw is in here, or the bolt is in here, and you take your multi-tool, which is basically an Allen wrench, and just turn that around like that. It only takes a few seconds to pull your grip off. Okay. Now I can take this beautiful zebra grip. These generally come with beautiful grips. That's one thing about Dan Wesson. He believed that if you're going to have a pistol, you might as well have a pistol you're proud of. And so to put this kind of beautiful bluing on one of these pistols and put a cheap, ugly grip on it didn't make sense. It's like buying a beautiful Cadillac and putting some ugly, worn out rims on it. You know, it just takes away from the beauty of it. So now we have another handle grip on it, and that is really pretty right there. Now, one thing I wanted to show you too was that again, it only takes a second to take this off, and that's the versatility of Dan Wesson, is that this is what you end up with, you know, taking the barrel off and opening your cylinder, and this is all you have left. See? And certainly makes it real easy to clean, wouldn't you think? So, close our cylinder. I didn't mention it to begin with, but I know some people always worry about that. The gun was checked to make sure it was empty. The last thing in the world you want to do is shoot yourself with a Dan Wesson 445 Super Mag, which would probably be the last thing that you ever do. Now, what is the 445 Super Mag like? Well, you probably heard of the 454 Casull. 454 Casull. Now, the 454 Casull, that's how easy it is to put the grip back on. Beginning to take form now. And see, this barrel's about like this. Let me show you that closer. When the barrel is screwed into the frame right here, your shroud is going to be up here like this. And so when the gases come out here at the end of your barrel, they're going to blow out the barrel, and they're going to blow up through here, straight up, vertical, to kick your gun down and reduce your recoil and keep your barrel from jumping so high. Because the 445, again, is a massive pistol. So this is a lot like the 454 Casull. And now what you do when you put the barrel back on, make sure you don't cross thread it. You see that gap right here between where the barrel should be. You keep turning that. And this is the beauty of Dan Wesson here. I mentioned in the other videos a couple of things about the Dan Wesson that are especially unique. Okay. Now notice our gap right there. A lot of pistols have a significant gap in here, and when you shoot them, flames and powder and power come out the side right here, and you lose a little bit of power on a revolver. If it was a bolt action, you'd have full power. But because the gases escape here, you lose some of that power. And so, as I screw this barrel in, you see that gap disappearing. I screw the barrel all the way down to it barely touches the cylinder. Then I unscrew it just a little bit. And then Dan Wesson comes with a shim. And this is a 6/1000th of an inch shim right here. If you can read that. Anyway, you take the shim and you stick it here like that. And I got my finger on the other end of it. And just screw that barrel down on top of that shim. Okay, that feel it snug on that shim. Now you want to make sure the shim comes out easily. Okay, it comes out easily. So I know that that barrel is 6/1000ths of an inch close to the cylinder. Okay, now I'm going to pull the hammer back and turn the cylinder. That's how easy that spins. So I know the cylinder is not hitting the barrel. So that's kind of where you want it. The closer the barrel is to the cylinder, the less powder and energy will be coming out this port here. Helps make your cartridge more powerful than a regular pistol who does not have this function. Okay, and now we take our shroud here and 445 Super Mag, and you just slide the shroud over the barrel, and that little pin down here holds that shroud so it won't turn, and this is your ejector right here. So now that you have your shroud on, the next thing you're going to be doing is putting your locking lug back on. Okay, now I'm just going to drop this down, hold it vertical, and now I'm going to take a multi-tool. Now this is a special one made just for this kind of pistol. And I'm going to gently turn it until it locks into the lugs. And I felt it lock into the lugs. You got to make sure that you don't cross thread that. Okay. So carefully turn that lug. You never force it. Sometimes, now I feel a little pressure there, so I know it's tightening up on the shroud. Make sure the shroud is flush right here, all the way across. And then you tighten it. You don't tighten it with a death grip. You tighten it snug, not real tight. I can tell you that if you tighten this thing way too tight, what will happen is that these lugs on here you'll mess them up. And I got one I'll show you of what happens when that happens. Okay, here's a lug here that's a nightmare. Now look at this. You see it should look like this, but look at that. It's torn all to pieces. And on the other side, it's torn up. Look how terrible that looks compared to this one. Now, my buddy LB, who makes custom grips just for Dan Wesson, beautiful custom grips for Dan Wesson. When I bought this pistol right here, I couldn't look into the barrel part of it, which that's a lesson right there. Anytime if you're buying a pistol at a gun show, take with you a bore light with you, so you can look into that barrel and make sure that barrel is in good quality. And I did not have a bore light with me. You can bring some tools with you if you want to take it apart, if it'll let you do that. I mean, just simple stuff like taking the barrel off or something like that. But what I couldn't see was this piece right here was all mangled up. Now, with it being all mangled up, when you take your tool right here, you see these prongs right here. I'm sorry, that's out of focus. Let's see. These prongs right here on here fit into these slots. Well, if you try putting this on that, you're not going to be able to undo this. It's just going to slip and you can't get this off. Now, there is a way, if you get a pistol Dan Wesson like this and somebody's mangled it up like that, The barrel was on there tight. You could have left it there like that, I guess, but I wanted this off. So I took it to my friend LB. And LB, he's awesome with Dan Wesson. He has a lot of them. He's the one that got me interested in Dan Wesson years ago. So there is a technique to getting these off when your tool does not work. There's a special technique for that. So if you have a problem like this and you've got one of these lugs that are really messed up, know that there is a way to get that off. So that would be another video all in itself. But so always look down the bore. Now, thankfully, we had to unscrew. Basically, the way he did it was he put a threaded rod all the way through the barrel. We took all the way through the barrel here, opened the cylinder, and put a nut on one end with a washer underneath it, and a nut on the other end, the washer on that, and then you end up turning the barrel inside here until you push the barrel all the way down to the point where this lug comes off. And we wasn't sure if it was going to make it or not, or it was going to tear up the gun, one of the two. But I really wanted it, repaired correctly. So LB did that because he's awesome with Dan Wesson. He does not work on them like a gunsmith or anything like that, but he's been around them for many years, so he knew that trick. So what I'm trying to say is that if you do have a problem with one of these lugs and it's messed up like this, and your multi-tool will not break it loose, all hope is not lost. So that worked on this one. And I even had the barrel sent to a guy who rethreaded the end of that barrel, and he also recrowned the barrel, and I don't think he charged me but like $45 to do that on the barrel. So that was awesome, and I got a pretty good deal on this pistol when I bought it though. But just letting you know that that's one of the things that can happen. So now that we have the lug locked in here, and we take this piece right here and put that back on, it screws back on. And make sure you put this on snug too, because you don't want that losing that piece right there. Okay. So again, I guess with the air pressure and stuff like that coming when you shoot it, it's going to bounce off this piece right here to blow up through here. Part of it will anyway. And again, it'll keep your muzzle, push your muzzle down and reduce the recoil. Recoil is pretty strong on this right here. Okay. I use large Magnum pistol primers to reload this pistol. The 454 Casole can cost you $4 or $5 a round. This one can cost you $3 or more a round. You can't, well, I think somebody does make 445 Super Mags now, but they are expensive, so it's better to reload them. I can reload them really cheap, and these are some I've reloaded. You see how big this thing is? It's like 3 fingers. I'll give you a comparison right here. Now, one thing about the ammunition for the 445 Super Mag, and that's pretty interesting there. Since it's a 445, it's basically a 44 Magnum type barrel to it, okay? But it's bigger than a 44 Magnum. It's more powerful than a 44 Magnum. Now let's talk about the ammo for this 445 Super Mag. Now, right here, this is the 44 Special. And the next one here is a 44 Magnum. Now the 44 Magnum here is a Corbin 44 Magnum. And the Corbin, they're the most powerful 44 Magnums that you can buy, I believe. That's 305 grain and travels 1,300 feet per second. And you could shoot a rhino with that thing, the way the bullet is made for this cartridge. So the 44 Special, the 44 Magnum, and then this one here is the 445 Super Mag. And you see the brass is a lot taller than the 44 Magnum. So this gives you a little idea as the size of these 445 Super Mags. This thing is like almost 3 fingers tall. So this is a huge bullet here. Now these are some of the 445s that I have loaded. And you open the cylinder here. And this is a huge cylinder right here. You can see how big these things are. So they just drop right in. And this is your plunger right here. And you'll need that after you shoot them. But this thing is pretty heavy too. So the neat thing too is that you can shoot the 445, the 444 Magnum, and the 444 Special. But you really, to me, you do not want to shoot a 44 Special in this. I might be shooting 44 Magnum, but since there's different sizes and length of the cartridges, you've got, the bullet has to kind of jump, like on a 44 Special, they have to jump farther before it hits the nose cone of the barrel. 44 Magnum would be fine in the 445, certainly, but it gives you the versatility of having 2 pistols or 3 pistols in one, which the 44 Magnum is a lot cheaper to shoot than a 445. The 44 Special would be a lot cheaper to shoot than the 44 Magnum. But if you're going to have a 445 Super Mag, you really are going to probably be reloading, because you don't want to pay the price it costs for some of these 445s. In a 454 Casull, they run about $4 or $5 for just one cartridge on the 454 Casull. The only difference in the width of a 445 and a 454 is 9/1000 of an inch. 9/1000 of an inch. So they're pretty close to the same pistol, the 445 and the 454. Now, ballistically, the 454 is a tad more powerful. The way that Dan Wesson made these, you could load these 445s up to shoot like a 454, because these are super built pistol frames right here. But you probably don't want to push that on the edge either. But these are just huge bullets right here. So 445 Super Mag, incredible, incredible pistols. Well, guys, I think that's about it on the 445 Super Mag.